Okay, welcome. I'm going to do a closing stock market analysis. We're going to go through the charts, show you guys how the day ended, and really how I'm planning, what I'm looking for tomorrow. So, guys, drop me a thumbs up. If you've been with me for a while, hit that thumbs up. It only takes a half a second. I'm only getting about 300 of these things every video, and there's well over a couple thousand people watching the video. So if you're finding value, and by that I mean if you're making money off these trades, I think you're finding value, direct value in your pocket. So drop me a thumbs up is the least you could do. I do appreciate it. And then again, if you guys are new, if you're new to trading or just new to the channel and you want to learn this as a skill set, technical analysis, trading, how to actually be profitable as a trader, I can't guarantee that you'll be profitable because I can't control your emotions and just everybody's different. But what I would say is that just having every bit of education can help, all right? And I know it's helped me. It's helped quite a few others. Take my course, link in the description below. It's about 4 to 5 hours of different video trainings broken out into different concepts, and then I give you guys a checklist to help you analyze trade setups and trade ideas. Link in the description below. It's not a free course. My time's not free, but it should easily pay for itself if you start, churning out profitable trades. And if anything, it's going to, really add to your skill set. So, and it's affordable. I priced it affordable. It's attainable to all. All right. Let's get into the triple Qs here. This is tech. A couple things I want to point out that I noticed as the market closed. Okay. Let's zoom in on the hourly because we obviously have this bearish rising wedge pattern. We broke out of it, and so I know my chart looks like a mess, but look at this big wedge right here. Now, the measured target of the wedge is really something like, it's about that, okay? So if you take that and move it down to here, that's setting us up to about this level right there at about 330, 329. That's the measured target right now of this pattern. But understand that we are in a bear market. In triple Qs, we're definitely in a bear market. From the high to the low, we've fallen 30%. So by definition, that's a bear market. And usually when you're in a bear market, you're not going to reach your measured target. Okay? So that's something we got to keep in mind. We don't want to press our luck on a bear market rally too much either. So just keep that in mind, all right? I don't think we're going on to new all-time highs. I will be looking to flip short again. That's how I'm going to do it, but we need some signs. So here's what I'm looking at now. I'm going to move into the hourly chart. The hourly chart on triple Qs. So really what I want you to do, and if I clean this up a little bit, I want you to focus on what we got going on down here on our momentum indicators. All right, this RSI, let me kind of shrink this a little bit. We have negative divergence now. Now it's not confirmed, but you'll see this. See that? How we are making kind of a lower high, and yet we're higher high in price. All right? Higher high in price, lower high in momentum. As I zoom in on the PPO, we also have it, let me zoom in right here. Sometimes I have to zoom in on this one. All right? It's something like that. So negative divergence is now in place on the 1 hour chart. So that gives us a potential setup for a pullback. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to just get a pullback tomorrow because we have no breaks of trend lines or anything like that. But I got this level right up here at 318. I could even adjust it slightly, but it's about 318 as far as I can tell. It's right in there. You might want to sell a little bit early. That's at least in my opinion. I'm going to be covering or closing out my long trade, my long on triple Qs as we approach that 318. And I can see in the after hours, they don't have it open, but over here, in the after hours, we're up around 315. So we're in the ballpark now where it makes sense to start lightening up on long positions. So that's what I'm going to be doing. First, especially if we gap up. If we gap up tomorrow, say we gap up to that 317.50, 318, anywhere in the 317 vicinity, it's going to make sense to start closing out these longs and potentially even flipping short. So that's one way to play it. That's probably what I'll do is if we get up to that 318 area, I'll probably close out my longs, flip short, and look for a drop. So again, negative divergence on the hourly, not fully confirmed. So we need to see that confirmed by these things starting to turn down again, but it's there as of right now. And then when I scan over on the futures, Nasdaq futures here, same picture, okay? You've got the Nasdaq futures, clean negative divergence on the PPO and negative divergence on the RSI. And on the RSI here, let me zoom in. You can see we're starting to turn down, so it's starting to confirm that one. Okay, so, I don't know how we're going to open tomorrow, but I would be looking to probably close out some long positions. At least that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, the risk reward for more upside is getting less and less the higher we go. And, I'm starting to get comments in my feed saying that, the correction is over. Someone said correction is over, off to new highs. Well, first off, in triple Qs, we're not in a correction. We're down, we're down 30% or so from the high. That's a bear market. Bear markets don't just stop and reverse and go on to new highs. They have in the past, in recent years, because the Fed stepped in. Fed's not stepping in. Okay, so likely, this is a bear market rally and it will be faded. Small caps, same picture really. Negative divergence on the 60-minute chart, which is what I'm on right here. This is IWM. Okay, so we have negative divergence making a slightly new high. We've got big resistance on the IWM right up here at about 192. It's, it's pretty clean, large resistance, and we are... we're really close, all right? We're getting in the vicinity. So I don't know. Maybe we gap up tomorrow. I'll probably sell my longs on the gap up, depending on kind of how things look. But that's likely what I think is going to happen. And maybe things reverse from there. Okay, gold. So here's gold bullion. Nice, decent day in gold. Nothing crazy, really. Let me kind of clean this up from this morning's video. But, we recovered that support line I talked about in this morning's video. Go back and watch the video from this morning if you haven't done so. Drop me a thumbs up on that video if you haven't done so. And then, gold just in general looks bullish. We're above the 200, still above the trend line of the larger bull market, and everything looks good. But some of these miners, like MTA, okay, so I talked about this one for many days. I don't know how many days, but I kept pointing it out saying, guys, this looks like a good area to buy. And this was just one of the stocks I talked about. I own this one personally, and because it just was a really good setup. So again, there's your support line I talked about right there. We had bullish divergence building, all right? They're building there for a while, and, we just had bullish divergence really building for quite a while. And it's not really there on the hourly here, but close enough here on the daily. It's not really there on the daily. I'm not sure where. It's just not on the PPO, I guess. But it's on the RSI, cleanly on the RSI there. So, and, I just have to kind of extend it out. There it is right there. So, and then today, just, out of the blue, boom, exploded higher. Pretty much kind of a breakout candle. Didn't really break out of any ranges, but definitely taking off this support line. So it was consolidating, just building support, and then boom, taking off. So kind of at resistance right here. I can see a level where it pretty much closed. So we might get a minor pullback. But again, it looks like it's taken off from that trend line. So as I move it, you can see that right there. See that trend line? So that was support here, resistance, and we popped right up. We're at resistance. We closed at resistance. So maybe a minor pullback, and then we probably break right through. But again, so the target, we're likely heading up to the 200 in the top of this trend line, somewhere up here. I don't know where, but... And then that's likely a good spot to close the long trade, because we will be at the top of this channel, and then just wait for a bullish breakout of the channel. If you get a bullish breakout of the channel, then that's your next buy signal, and that tells me that this corrective downtrend here is over. I think we are going to get that. I think what we'll do is run up, hit this, chop around, maybe come back down, test this, and then break. Okay, so there's limited downside in this one, I believe. one of the reasons that I really like it for more upside is just the bear trap that was triggered right down here. All right, see that bear trap right there where we broke down? We broke this channel here and we broke to the downside. It was a fake out and they recovered it. Okay, so nice bear trap in play, and it tells me we're heading to the top of the channel at a minimum, and then, you know, probably breakout. But what I'll do is close my long at the top of the channel and wait for that breakout. Either way, you know, if you bought it down here up to the top of the channel, that's a potential for, I don't know, it depends on when we get there, but a 30% gain. All right, so I like that one. Not as much right here. I liked it down here. But, you know, today it was up almost 13%. And really the same thing with these silver miners. They have the same pattern. Here's one, First Majestic breakout candle. So, you know, this one's probably going to continue higher. These things can get pretty impulsive. Here's Pan American Silver, PAAS. This one you had a bullish falling wedge pattern, broke to the upside, came back down, you know, looked like it's going to break, but boom, recovered. Nice recovery. Bear trap. Okay, so we have bear traps in a lot of these, telling me that we're, you know, off to the races for a continuation to the upside. Probably going to be pretty impulsive over the next couple days, I would think. Okay, Netflix. So Netflix, I think, is just about to continue to break out. And one thing that, you know, Netflix doesn't look as bearish as like the triple Qs and stuff. Look at Netflix. We don't have negative divergence. We're making a new higher high in price right here. But no, you know, higher high in momentum. Momentum's continuing to lift higher. So that tells me that we are, you know, everything looks intact on this one. It looks bullish still. So I think we're heading higher. After hours, I can see it's up. I don't take too much, you know, I don't read too much into what the after hours say, but it is up, you know, up about another almost 1%. And we closed at resistance though, which was about 205. You can see, you know, basically resistance here, you know, pretty much there. And we're right at it now. So I think it's going to break, but it doesn't have to. We could pull back, hit this trend line, then break. I don't know. I think it's probably going to break right here, break higher. And that might set Netflix up for a pretty swift move. There's not much resist. You know, I've got a line drawn right here. I don't really like this line. I'm just going to take it away. I think we probably head straight up to close to this gap entry, or, you know, basically 245.50 is the level I'm looking for. So whether that happens, I don't know, but so far so good. So Walmart looks like it's already starting to roll over, and that just gives me a clue as to where maybe the market's heading. That's why I think the market maybe a little more upside, and then we might start to roll over a little bit. I don't know if the rally's finished, to be honest, but I know we're coming close to the next resistance level, which could be the top of the rally. So that's what we're going to watch for. Walmart, though, I want to point out kind of what we got going on here. Big bearish rising wedge pattern on Walmart this is going back to 2015. So a humongous wedge. It popped to the upside because the Fed basically went crazy in 2020. And so they created this, but you can see we've basically gapped all the way down to the bottom and just crashed. So Walmart has pretty much crashed from the highs down to the lows, 30%, and it was fast too. So definitely a crash there. And they've rallied it up, looking to fill this gap right here. There was a gap at 130.61. The sellers stepped in a little early and smashed it down. And they didn't actually fill the gap. So that's bearish in general. Doesn't mean it won't run up. Maybe it will run up and fill the gap now. But just keep an eye on it. I think we're getting close to the air. You know, I think it's almost done. Maybe run up, fill the gap. Maybe it even runs up and hits this trend line right here. I don't think we're filling this gap right here. This gap's likely not going to be filled. But we could run up and hit this trend line right here and then reject. Maybe something like that and then reject. But again, in a bear market, things don't hit their major target oftentimes. So keep in mind. Now, where does Walmart go longer term? Because this is better short than it is a long, especially after the most recent rally. I think we head down here to 91. This would be, you know, this is kind of a big level, and ultimately potentially all the way down to 60 bucks. That is a potential, maybe over, it's going to take months, years, I don't know how long, but that could be a potential level all the way down there. Okay, that's big support down there, so that's what I'd be looking for. Now, the major target on this wedge, if you want to just take the major target, because you're likely at least going to get a reaction. Now, we broke basically there. Yeah, it's putting us right about there, 86 bucks. So, yeah, that's where I think we head over the long term. And DVN, I'll wrap up with this one, but this is definitely a decent short setup. Not a actionable trade, at least not for me yet, but definitely a short setup. Devon Energy. So the oil trade, the oil, just really everything around oil is a crowded trade. Retail's all piled in there. Kramer, it's probably his best section. It's just, you know, he hated the section back in November when we were buying, November of 2020, when we were buying the oil stocks. But he loves it now, and it's just a crowded trade. So I look to fade crowded trades. You know, these are the kind of short setups I look for. And again, you've got a big bearish rising wedge pattern, very clean pattern on this, and that's why I like it so much. The pattern's very easy to spot. Huge negative divergence on the daily chart that's just been building and building for quite a while. And it's still intact, hasn't been burned through or taken out. Now, as I zoom in, you can see we're basically right up here at the top. Now, we overshot the last 2 days, opening way above this wedge, and they sold it. The sellers are starting to step in. So I'm noticing that price action that, okay, you gap up and the sellers are selling it down. So that tells me that there's sellers here. You know, you could short it at this resistance line. That is objective to short there. You've got negative divergence, you're at resistance, but the thing is that we've had negative divergence in this for a while, and we've hit this trend line, you know, for many months basically. And if you shorted it, yeah, you were profitable because it did trade down, but in general, it kept going higher within this bull trend. And I'm looking for the big trade, so I don't want to just catch that little thing. I'm looking for the big move down, likely moving down to, well, at a, you know, probably minimum target, good target, 45.30, I would say would be a decent target. So in order for that to take place, we need to see this trend break, and I need a sell signal to break this trend line here. But, you know, keep an eye out, because I think it's going to come quickly when it does show up. Again, it's a crowded trade, so when everyone tries to exit a crowded trade, it's a swift move down. And so I'll just be, you know, I'll be ready to pounce. I'll let you guys know if I see anything or when it shows up, but I'm definitely looking at it. And the oil industry, the oil stocks are starting to look a little toppy. I'm looking at some of these other ones. We're getting some bearish engulfing candles on a couple. Nothing that's huge, but I'm definitely, you know, I'm starting to scope that one for the next short opportunity. Okay, guys, that's all I got for today. I'm going to wrap up. Very profitable day for myself. Hopefully it was for you. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Bye.